Hi, my name is JTB, and this is my SGDQ 2018 submission video for Resident Evil 4 No Merchant. What this category is essentially a new game run of the game. So we're just starting with the basic equipment on the normal difficulty. But to make the run a little bit more challenging, we're not talking to the merchant whatsoever. So that means we're not buying any other weapons than the ones that the game gives to us in the world itself. Not upgrading anything. We're only limited to what we can pick up itself, in the game itself. So that's a pretty big element of difficulty, because later on in the game you're expected to have stronger weapons to deal with the bosses. You're not expected to go into the last boss with just a pistol. But we do find a way to make it work. So this run is not as hard as it seems. The route is pretty well optimized at this point. There's still some things that could be done better, but definitely we have a pretty good route for this so far, and definitely is marathon safe as well. It's safe enough that we're not going to be running into any game overs or unwinnable situations. It's a fairly new category. Last year is when people really started getting into it and routing it, so it'd be really great to show this run at a GDQ, and also do this as like a bid war between New Game Pro and No Merchant. I think that would be pretty successful. But let's talk about this run a bit. So the run starts pretty similar to your standard new game speed run. We pick up the same 2 hand grenades running into the village. We do the same strat for killing all those enemies by grouping them up. The main difference one big difference between normal and pro is that normal enemies walk a lot slower than pro enemies, who are a lot more aggressive. So to compensate, we kind of have to delay some of the things we do, like throwing a grenade. Excuse me, like throwing a grenade at a group of enemies to make sure we kill the right amount. Excuse me, I'm trying to talk, but my throat is kind of dying after doing my New Game Pro commentary as well. So yeah, normal enemies, like I said, they're a lot less aggressive, so we have to compensate by delaying some of our actions to make sure same things happen. We also have a dynamic difficulty in this game, so taking damage, killing enemies, stuff like that can increase or decrease the difficulty. We'll do some things to decrease the difficulty to make like future events a lot easier to deal with. But even just taking random hits at enemies isn't that big of a deal, because we have to do it at some point. So here I'm going to jump down. There should be a guy on the bridge that... So I'm just going to be safe there. That guy is usually supposed to be on the bridge still, so I can have a chance to shoot him. But it looks like the pitchfork guy got there a lot faster. It's not something I've ever seen before, but that's Resident Evil 4 speedrunning for you, generally. There's always something new that happens every single run. Normally that guy's not there in a professional difficulty because he's fast enough that he'll already be in the house. So it's just kind of one of those differences between normal and pro that we have to constantly be thinking about. So I'm out of ammo I need to reload at some point. This is exactly where I need to be reloading though. I don't have a shot for that guy. That's one guy I needed to have point at me, not run at me. So I'm gonna reload here. I do that right there because when they throw the dynamite at you, you can avoid taking any damage from it by jumping over those sandbags right there. So those are what Leon's invincibility frames are. Anytime he's doing any sort of action, like opening a door, jumping over an obstacle, doing like a kick on enemies, he has a certain amount of invincibility frames that nothing can affect him at all. So we definitely abuse that at various moments in this run, such as right there. Oh, what's going on? Going all over the place. So we're going to be picking up some items we generally don't do in a New Game Pro to compensate for not having certain other weapons later on. Like that incendiary grenade. We'll be picking that up for a later on fight. That's okay that he grabs me in the back like that. Anytime you get grabbed in the back, you get no damage done to you, as opposed to the front where you'll take a little bit of damage and go into the yellow. I was actually kind of hoping that he grabbed me from the front there so I could take some damage and reduce my difficulty for the boss coming up. But I'll just have to make do without that happening. So here's the one merchant that we are forced to talk to, but we'll just quickly get out of that screen. Sorry, merchant. This is a no merchant speedrun. Grab this grenade right here. There's a lot of like special item, like explosives and stuff, like hidden in various corners of the village. So definitely some of them are really beneficial for the speedrun itself, so naturally we'll pick them up. So to talk a little bit about the game itself. Whoa, you're supposed to jump, dude. Good thing you didn't grab me. Okay, so going back to the game itself, the game is divided up into 3 distinct environments. Chapters 1 and 2 take place in the village that we're at right now, and kind of have a pretty high degree to RNG to completing it, more so than other chapters, especially for no merchant. Early on, we don't have a lot of ammo, and especially for the cabin fight coming up, we do want to have a certain amount of ammo to get through that fight without, spending too much time there. So I'm really looking for any extra pickups I can for that. I was looking for it too, right there. Oh good, he's pointing at me too, so I can just run past him. But yeah, I'm looking for any extra ammo pickups I can, especially for the shotgun, because I'm gonna need, pretty much anything I can get when I get to that fight. I haven't seen any shotgun shells yet, so to kind of compensate for that, I'm gonna pick up this this handgun ammo right here. I'm still hoping that we get some just random drops later on. It's not imperative that it's needed, that we need it, but it really helps. So this is Del Lago. This is like the first gatekeeper of the speedrun for pretty much every single category. The reason for that is because he's a pretty random boss with the movement that he takes. Nice, got the 4th hit there. He can dive at random moments, which makes you have to wait for this long cutscene in which he resurfaces, which we're gonna see right here, unfortunately. If he didn't fully dive right there, he would have turned around and we'd be able to kill him as he resurfaced with like 5 more harpoons. But this is the kind of stuff that a lot of people reset runs on because it's just a lot of time lost for no reason. You should die right here. Wow. The logo is just so all my recordings for submissions have had about Delago so far. Just kind of to be expected that when it's most important to have a good Delago, you're not going to get a good one. So like for example, that bad Delago right there gave me a 22 second time loss on my splits, which I have off screen. So just one random pattern, 10 minutes into the run can lose you, about half a minute for no reason. So one of the most heavily reset spots just to get that optimal Delago pattern and go into the rest of the game with a decent split. But here we are in chapter 2. This is the nighttime section of the village. We're going to be backtracking to a few different areas that we were in earlier. Right now we're just trying to find this key item to get into the church where our next objective is. Also need to note that I'm playing on 60 FPS. The reason why that's important is because there's a lot of out of bounds glitches that you can't do on 60 FPS that you could do on 30 FPS. Specifically, if I was playing on 30 FPS, we can clip through this little fence right here and just run out of bounds through the waterfall instead of having to hit the lever. But because we're playing on 60 FPS, it just forces you inbounds anytime you try to do it this time. So we just have to run through normally. There are still some unique glitches that we'll be doing throughout this run, so it's definitely not a glitchless run. But not being able to do out of bounds there makes those individual areas a little bit slower. But overall, 60 FPS is a lot faster than 30 due to like reduced load times. You can shoot enemies a lot faster. Hello? Okay. Switching to your item screen is a lot faster too, so those kind of like minute things add up over time. So this is Delago, or sorry, no, this is Gigante. Normally we'd be using a rocket launcher here to kill him, but since we don't have one, we have to do a kind of interesting strat where we throw this grenade up and we kill him like that. So we throw 2 grenades to down him, and that causes him to... No, I'm trying to pick up this herb. There we go. That causes him, the plagas in his back to show up. And then we throw that grenade at a certain angle in order to bounce it off the rocks there onto his back, which kills him. So pretty unique strat that a lot of people would never even think of, especially for, one of the first kind of major boss fights of the game. That's one of the things that really drives people to watch these runs is how do we get through this game with such a restriction on us throughout it. And honestly, this run is, I think it's really an impressive run. It is obviously a little bit slower than usual new game runs, but it's definitely, I think, a little bit more impressive doing these. Pick up this stuff. Still no shotgun shells, unfortunately.
Wait.
I should be good, but we'll see. given how new this category is, so I'm pretty new to this category as well, but a lot of my new game experience translates really well over. So as of right now, I don't have like a marathon route for this. So I'm just doing your standard actual like speedrun risky strats. But should this get into a marathon, I will have a slightly altered route in order to ensure consistency and that the run, there's no issues with the run itself. There shouldn't even be any issues in this run though. Looks like cabin coming up is like usually the biggest thing given the ammo that you have. But there's definitely ways to ensure that you get through without running out of ammo or having to reset or anything like that.
Wait, follow me.
So Ashley, we have Ashley now. I never really mentioned that. Ashley adds a mechanic. The game makes it an escort mission pretty much. We can command her to wait and follow, which is useful for alerting enemies that can't see us as of yet. Which I did to make that one Ganado charge at her through the ladder, so that way she can just walk up normally. And then pretty much just have to protect her, throughout the game. Which isn't too hard in this category itself, though. So this is the cabin fight. This is one of the more difficult parts of this run itself, just because we have a little bit less ammo. We're not using a lot of hand grenades that we do. So I'm gonna kill as many enemies as I can. I just want to get them to stop right here, so I can use this grenade. Kill as many as I can. So now we just spend the rest of the fight kind of just chilling right here. The main MVP for this fight is Luis that you hear in the background killing all these enemies with his red 9. He does quite a lot of damage with the red 9 itself. So really just letting him kill everyone. Well, I just keep them here. I need to be keeping these two at bay right here. So these are like the plagas itself that spawn. There's only 2 plagas that can spawn at any time, and if they're right here, then Luis is ignoring them and going after everyone else instead, which is great for me because he can kill enemies really fast. But these guys will distract him. They'll actually do a lot of damage to him. So I'm gonna kill them right now since we're kind of getting close. Also, those 2 shotgun shells will really help. So I'm just holding on to my shots as long as I can. I don't want to use it on just like 1 or 2 enemies, given that we don't have a lot of ammo. Ooh, more shotgun shells, that's good. Okay, so Luis is getting hit by one of them now. So he's gonna go upstairs, which is fine. We'll take care of the rest of these guys. Which they should all die pretty soon. Got a lot of shotgun shells right here.
Use this.
So I'm gonna go back here now. So we should probably kill the rest of them. But I'll just kind of help them finish a few of them off. This should be all of them. So now I'm just spending my time running around trying to kill these enemies, make this fight end.
Use this.
So it doesn't look like Luis killed as many enemies as he should. That fight should have been about 20 seconds slower. So definitely there's a kind of a random element to it as far as how many enemies Luis kills before he runs upstairs. We want him to kill as many enemies as possible so that um, we're not having to waste too many shotgun shells, but that's probably the most random element of this run, besides the logo, that you just don't have any control over. It's just kind of like have to take whether or not you get a good cabin fight or you don't.
Wait.
I'm gonna get rid of this right now. So I don't need any of that extra ammo like the TMP or rifle, since we never buy those two weapons. And inventory space becomes pretty cramped coming up. So I'm looking to get rid of some stuff. I have too many herbs, I think, actually. It's good that I haven't taken any damage, but normally you would expect to take 1 or 2 hits at this point, especially in that cabin fight. So here I'll probably use a little bit of handgun ammo. Another thing is every missed shot that you take decreases your difficulty. And I don't need a lot of handgun ammo. Yeah, I got like 75 shots, which is a ridiculous amount. Pretty much I just want to keep 1 stack of handgun ammo at any time. Oh, there's a guy in there that's yelling at me. I've never heard that guy yell at me before. So now we wait. Enjoy the sky textures. Those pixels on the bar in front of us. Game definitely got ported up to 1440p, but the textures are all still pretty low. Pretty low res. No, don't pick that up. Alright, so now we're approaching the Mendez fight. He's the final boss for this chapter. This fight is literally exactly the same as any new game. Mendez is super weak to incendiary grenades, so we only have to use 4 of them to kill him, 2 for phase. As you'll see right now. So throw 1 there. Look at this one. Wait for him to get out of his staggered position. Throw another one, and throw this one. Then grab shotgun shells. Come to this corner, and then wait for him to jump down. And throw that. So the additional firepower from that barrel that was right there is able to push him over and kill him. So that's kind of a cool little thing people don't know about. This guy, Mendez is just really weak to incendiary grenades for some reason. Easiest way to kill him, especially for such like a difficult fight casually. You're stuck in this tiny little room with this humanoid bullet sponge. So what was probably a pretty hard fight casually, really done easily in a speedrun. So now we're just backtracking to the store now that we have the key item to go through it. And then we'll be moving on to the next chapter of the game. Now we'll be out of the village. So we'll run up here, get this truck to come at us, and while we're waiting for the truck to show up, we'll grab this handgun ammo.
Wait.
We'll tell her to wait, which kind of makes it easier to, like, gives a little bit of a zoom in for Leon. And we'll just run past this. I don't actually need Ashley with us right now.
Wait.
Just let her go. We'll equip this since we don't need to shoot anything for a while. So even though Ashley's not with us and she's getting picked up, this area is triggered by crossing over a certain point as opposed to approaching a door. So regardless of where Ashley's at, she'll always show up with us. But yeah, now we're on to the castle segment, and this is when the game really begins to diverge from a standard new game run, because at this point you would be switching out your handgun and your shotgun for a SMG and a semi-automatic rifle. So we're losing a lot of firepower, but we're still able to get through this in a relatively fast fashion. So because we can't shoot the catapult guy over here at the start, then we have to wait until we're over here. So we're gonna run over here to avoid it, and then we'll shoot him once. One hit kill for all of these guys, and that lets us just crank this this bad boy up without anyone bothering us. So we leave Ashley there because there is a Gonado that's following us, and once we shoot this wall down, then all the enemies just automatically despawn.
Wait.
Including the one that was carrying Ashley. So we kind of use her as bait there to make sure we don't have anyone bothering us. Kind of another use for her throughout the run is using her as a bait for Gonados, so that way we can get through unscathed. This room, we're going to grab this sword on the top room, and then we're going to leave the room and re-enter it. The reason for that is because all the enemies will reset up top, which makes it a whole lot easier to just run up here and go straight to the door. Especially with Ashley around. Normally they would just be kind of chilling there at the top of the stairs, which we really don't want to have to waste shotgun shells on if we can help it. So we're going to activate these two guys, we're going to run past them, grab this key. Oh, hello, dude. That was very fast. So that guy moves so fast that he actually blocked the explosive barrel that I need to shoot to knock them all down. Not a big deal. I was able to run past him and still shoot it, but like I said, there's a lot of stuff in this game that you just don't expect to happen, and you just have to be, ready to adjust, whatever you're doing to match the enemy's movement. So we're gonna leave Ashley over here to set up a neat little trick later on. Not really a trick, but just one of those ways to manipulate enemy movement. Plus we don't need her to fight this little mini boss over here, so doing that. And reload. And actually, I just remembered I didn't do one thing correctly, so actually I need to do this. So this is actually one big difference between new game and no merchant, is that we need to kill Ashley 3 times here. I should have done it in the doorway earlier on, but I just completely forgot about it. It's not something you think about. The reason why we're killing Ashley is not just for our enjoyment, but rather I'll go ahead and put her back over here so I can still do this trick. The reason we do that is every time you game over, whether you die or Ashley dies, then the difficulty of the game reduces by quite a lot, actually. So we do that here in order to be able to kill this Galador in 6 hits, as opposed to like 7 or 8, which matches up really well with the amount of shells we have. And also despawns a bunch of enemies in the next room, which makes Waterhall a whole lot easier to deal with. So it's it's kind of hard going from a new game pro to no merchant because there's so many like differences. That's something that wouldn't really happen in a marathon because I wouldn't be switching constantly between new game and no merchant.
Follow me. Wait.
So I'm gonna tell her to wait and follow me, and this triggers these guys to go after her instead of me. So in the delay of them having to turn around and approach Ashley, I'm able to just run straight past them with Ashley and not have to worry about shooting any enemies. Get through. So this is the water hall. This is one of the most infamous rooms in the speed run. Okay, I'm gonna have to leave him right there, unfortunately. So this room is really difficult because we don't have a lot of firepower to deal with all these guys. There's a lot of enemies that are constantly approaching us. As you can see, these guys right here. Get this guy, get him out of my way. Ashley, come on, let's go. Plus we have these shield guys, which we have to take off with the shotgun itself. So kind of lost switching between the shotgun and handgun here. The reason why we want these guys down is because we have to make Ashley use this crank to get through to the next area. As you see, the difficulty being so low, normally there's enemies that would be right there. But there's not here. Oh, this is close. Okay. Normally there would be enemies right there, but given the difficulty is so low, they just remove them from the game and you can just run through without any issues. So Waterhall is a completely different beast and no merchant. Normally the first part of the Waterhall is the hard part and the second part is super easy, but in no merchant we don't have, you know, a semi-automatic rifle to just headshot every single enemy here. So instead we have to use this handgun to kill these enemies, all while avoiding the enemies ourselves. So I'm gonna go ahead and shoot that guy. Grab these shotgun shells. We're gonna grab, my inventory is like all over the place. And grab this. We're gonna throw this grenade. Only killed one. That sucks. It's okay, that hits me. I'm trying to equip this shotgun, it's not happening. There's a lot of room to deal with enemies here, so I don't need to be like perfect with everything. Oh man, that guy was not supposed to be there. So I'll just shoot that guy down. It's harder to deal with managing these guys and Ashley at the same time because you can't kill these guys in one hit. So I just need to be constantly knocking these guys down as well as these ones. Kill this guy. Get out of my way. So I kind of delayed that that kick there, so that way I had enough time to hit both of them. So this should be good enough. All right, now we go grab Ashley. So definitely a little bit harder room. Like I said, a lot harder than your standard. Whoa! I don't think I've ever seen a shield guy this late into the room. Wow. So like I said, a lot harder than standard New Game Pro, but definitely still doable. So we're gonna leave Ashley there. Go grab this grenade over here. It's okay that my inventory is all over the place. We'll do quite a lot of inventory changes in a couple chapters, so nothing needs to be in order right now at all. So now we're on to 3-2. If you ever seen an RE4 speed run, then you know that this is the chapter that the Novisa Doors get introduced. Don't know what Novisa Doors are. They're these bug enemies that show up that are extremely random in how they move around the areas that they're in. They could go on the walls. In later areas, they could just go out of bounds and show up inbounds whenever they want. They can combo you before you have a chance to heal. These ones are a lot more bearable to deal with on normal difficulty because your difficulty isn't as high. But still, they're a big pain. I pick up the extra flash grenade there just to be on the safe side, which I'll use in just a second. So that makes sure that this doorway is open and I can just run past those Novisa Doors without being touched by them at all. There's always a chance that they could just keep knocking me down over and over, that comboing I was talking about. So I just really want to avoid that in general. It's definitely possible to take deaths in this run, especially if your difficulty is way too high. But every death just serves, you know, if you do die, it serves to just lower the difficulty and make the run a little bit easier. So this next room, just gonna give a fair bit of warning. It involves an extremely tricky grenade throw that I may miss. It's kind of really hard to do. So there may be like a reset or two, and I'll be able to show that in just a second. Normally what we do in a New Game Pro run is we're able to shoot the red zealot, which has the key to the next area with our rifle, but we don't have that. And we don't have any way to kill him when he shows up all the way over here. So what we have to do is throw this incendiary grenade all the way across the room, have it land at a certain spot. Okay, perfect. Oh, I'm so glad I got that. It's so easy to just throw that way too high and have it just bounce off and hit the ground. It's easy to not throw it far enough. There's so many things that can go wrong. But what do we do? So that grab was intentional. Normally he would just be running away from us, and we'd have to chase him. But if you stand right next to him, then he'll just grab you right away instead of running away. And doing the grab, like escape attack to enemies, generally will kill them. So we do that there to get the key. It's also we do that in 30 FPS runs, so it's kind of a useful trick. Go walk around here, grab some extra ammo. Get the cutscene for the rocket launcher. You can hear them in the background. Hopefully there's no enemies right here. Okay, good. So I'm gonna go up here and reload while waiting for the rocket launcher. If we move, then we generally get staggered by the explosion. Kick these guys out of the way, just to be on the safe side. This guy. Actually, I'm not going to run around him. That's kind of a weird pattern that happened there. So let's go ahead and heal. And move on. Like I said, it's okay to take damage. It reduces difficulty. Plus in the castle, it's nice because there's a lot of like extra green herbs everywhere that you don't even need to pick up the herbs. You can just use them right then and there. So definitely makes things, you know, a lot easier to deal with, as opposed to like trying to find inventory space. So this is always an area I have to point out, no matter, what category, what run I'm doing, because this area is pretty special to me because it was like the scariest area in the game when I got this as a teenager. Just the whole like claustrophobic feel of dodging these dogs that you can hear but can't see really spooked the heck out of me. But and then you learn the speed run and you realize dogs can't do anything to you unless you're stopped moving or you're running straight at them. Literally, you'll hear them behind me this whole time, but they won't do anything at all to me, and just kind of removes that whole element of horror that they're going for here. So we just make it quick in and out and go to the next area. Kind of getting good gold split on this chapter too. Okay, come on. Menuing is also hard. So we're on to 3-3 now. If you haven't been keeping track of kind of like the number of chapters I've been going through. This is the shortest chapter in the game. It's just a few screens long. We'll actually be returning to this chapter later on. And reload right here. That way we can do this. We're gonna throw this grenade, which knocks this lock off the door instantly. And then switch back to the handgun to shoot these guys down. But yeah, like I said, we'll be coming back here pretty soon. Gotta shoot these guys down so they don't bother us. And then hopefully these guys come out of the door. Okay, this actually worked. So in the New Game Pro submission video, that didn't work out. But having them stand at the door is the best thing that can happen, just because you can kick the door and just walk right through. What happened in my New Game Pro videos, they were still at the door and then they opened it right as I got to it, and they hit me. So it kind of made things a little bit hard. And actually, wow, I'm surprised I got all the shots without any issues. It's really hard to hit those locks. Not zoomed in and kind of at a weird angle too. So I kind of got lucky there. It's pretty common to hit Ashley by accident and have to reset this room. Kill these guys. And then, because we don't have the semi-automatic rifle to shoot this guy down, then we're just gonna use that incendiary to do enough damage to him. As soon as we get the cutscene. Any day now, Ashley.
The door's locked. I can't open it.
I used to. Okay, throw that, and then we're gonna wait a second and throw this grenade. Should have killed everybody. Yeah, we got them all.
I got the key.
So if you don't kill all those enemies at once, then there's a second wave that spawns, which is not too bad in a New Game Pro run, but in a no merchant when you only have the handgun to do damage to those enemies, it's definitely a situation we want to avoid if possible. So this is the Ashley segment, by the way. Yeah, get her through all these different puzzles. She doesn't have any combat abilities. We just have to run through pretty much. The only thing that she can do to those Gonado that we passed is throw these lamps at them, which set them on fire and just temporarily incapacitate them. But we don't even need to do that. They're slow enough that you can just run past them without any problems. So a couple of a door puzzle right here, hitting buttons in a certain order to open the gates. Oops, what am I doing? Oh. So yeah, gotta complete the puzzle first and then put the last piece in. Those puzzles are actually really difficult for me, personally, just sliding tile puzzles in any game. So when I learned the solution for this, for the speedrun, like literally all you do is just move around the edge of the board, moving each piece in one direction to complete it. It's like ridiculously easy. It kind of blew my mind when I did that. So these are armaduras that we're seeing, these suits of armor. Can't fight them right now, we just have to run away from them. What they are, they have this that Plagas parasite inside of them, which is controlling them. For whatever reason, whenever they miss a hit on you in those cutscenes, they just die instantly. Fortunately, we don't have that luxury later on when we fight them with Leon. But with Ashley, they just like to destroy themselves. Alright, so now we're going to be moving it into Chapter 4. 4.1 is the longest chapter in this run by far. And this is when the run kind of slows down a bit too, for a few reasons. So the first reason is that we need to do a little bit of backtracking to start things off. The reason for that is we have Ashley now, so we can grab this weapon called a Broken Butterfly, which is a magnum that we're going to be using as their power weapon throughout the run. Also going to grab this rocket launcher right here, if I can pick it up, and we're going to do a bit of inventory management. So get rid of this, get rid of this, get rid of this, get rid of this, and bring this over here. And then that sets up the inventory perfectly for the Broken Butterfly that we're about to grab. So I'm gonna go over here. So all that Godador that was there earlier is actually gone now. And grab this Magnum ammo. Wow! I've never seen that guy do that. Let's go ahead and just throw that right there, so we don't have to worry about that guy. Usually they're all on the other side of this door here. So kind of cut me off guard that he just charged through without any worries and just like whatever. Wow, what is going on here? I think my difficulty is actually a little bit too high right now. Let's grab this. I'm gonna use that on Ashley. Yeah, I think my difficulty is a little bit too high because these enemies are a lot more aggressive than normal. I may go ahead and kill Ashley one more time once we get back to the room that she was trapped in, just to make sure that it doesn't get too high, because if things get too high, then it can go really south quick. Okay, so first we gotta do the door, and then we gotta do piggyback, and then we gotta leave her right here to keep the door open for me. Thank you. Such a gentleman. Hello? Come on. Alright, this is perfect inventory that I want, I believe. Yeah, make our way back to that area that we were just in. So I'm gonna kill Ashley once in a couple screens, because like I said, I don't need my difficulty to be as high as it is right now. Run past him. Looks like a pretty like hard hit to dodge, but it's actually really simple to do so. Grab this flash grenade that we used earlier. Go ahead and kill Ashley right here. Ashley, come on, cooperate. Alright, that should be good enough to reduce what... I'm not really sure why my difficulty is so high. Obviously your difficulty increases as you kill more enemies to kind of compensate, like, hey, this guy's doing really good, let's make it harder for him. But I never had it actually happen that it goes up so high that, you know, those two enemies in there were so aggressive that they hit me when they shouldn't be. Alright, so now we move into the actual chapter 4-1. After doing that slight backtrack. So this is always the room that makes people kind of question RE4, the volcano molten lava room in the middle of the castle. Really makes no sense at all. But I don't know. I didn't make this game. I just roll with it. But this room is pretty simple. Because we don't have the rifle to shoot down this dragon statue, we just need to kill the guy that's actually on it to drop him. Just like that. Super easy to do so. A lot of people think you actually have to destroy or just keep shooting the statue itself, drop it in, when actually you can just do it in literally one shot. Because that guy will always die in one hit. So kind of a neat little tidbit, you know, for people that played this game casually but haven't gone too deep into it. Honestly, one of the biggest things I hear about this run is just the amount of things people didn't know that you can do in this game, you know, such as the incendiary grenades on Mendez, you know, the shot on that statue right there. There's so many little things that people don't know that it's actually really kind of a neat game design, in my opinion. And I really enjoy being able to show off these things, you know, in a kind of a fast setting too. It's a reason why I like speedrunning this game so much. So now we're moving back to the start of the game, or start of the castle. See, there's this wall. There's the guard door over there. So this is the Chimer wall. This is a big glitch that we were trying to figure out how to do. So we're trying to figure out how to get through this wall without actually putting those key items in there. Because if we did, it would skip like 15 to 20 minutes on a new game run itself. It would allow you to go from 3-1 all the way to 4-1. Avoid some of the more tense moments in speedrun. And just overall be impressive however it's done. There has been people that have gotten actually through that door. I don't know exactly how. I haven't seen it myself. So there has to be some way, but we just have not gotten that breakthrough just yet. So we're gonna shoot these to avoid the Indiana Jones trap. Then we're gonna run up here. Actually, get stuck. A little bit harder to hit these guys. Because like I said, I'm not using like a zoom in or anything like that. I reload here just to have extra ammo for the next kind of big fight in this next room. So this gives me a chance when I switch to my shotgun to see what my items are like. I grab this and actually put that with the green herb there to get a little bit more health when I have to reload, which is gonna definitely, or when I get hit, which is probably gonna happen in this fight. So these are the armaduras again. We get through these ones and then we actually fight 2 waves of them in here. This is a little bit more of a tense room because we don't have the rifle to knock off their helmets. So we're gonna do that. It's okay if we take damage. Should actually be fine here. Use this. Use that. Actually get rid of this. So it takes 2 shots to knock off each of these helmets. I have to make sure if they get staggered that I don't shoot them, because then they just ignore it completely, like that. So if I shot him right there again, then he would just be, it would take him another hit. So I kind of want to like kite these guys around a bit. The reason why is because these plagas that are, oh crap. These plagas that are in here, they can they'll one-shot you, and Really don't want that to happen, of course, like that. Ooh, that guy almost hit me. That was scary. Then we'll throw that flash grenade. So the flash grenade kills all of them in one hit. Let's see, let's combine this. And let's do that. Let's actually, I'm gonna equip this and reload just to be on the safe side. So flash grenades, one important game mechanic for Resident Evil 4 is anytime those plagas are visible, flash grenade will instantly kill them regardless of difficulty. So normally they would take a whole lot of damage to kill, but since we can just use those 2 flash grenades there, oh god, this is not good. I'm actually gonna reset that room. So I think my difficulty is a little bit too low because those guys should be charging me a little bit faster to create an opening for me to run through.
Wait, follow me.
Also, I didn't yell at Ashley to alert them. I'm gonna wait here. All right, that's a lot better.
Wait.
So small little differences between the 2 difficulties that see obviously make you have to reset a room at some points. Oh, okay, that was weird. Keep switching the keyboard by accident because I hit my mouse. So Ashley's gonna go away here, and then we're gonna run to Novisa Doors Part 2. This is actually probably the hardest one to deal with in this fight, because we only have 1 flash grenade to get past them. I'm really hoping for some kicks here, like that. And we'll throw a flash grenade right here to give me a little bit of breathing room. Okay. And then we'll clip this to get that better movement speed and then run through. So the reason why I move my my camera away, so that way they don't kick me. I don't want to get that kick command if I don't need to like clear enemies around me. So I move my camera away to hopefully just run past them. But if they're up in the air, then, you know, no matter if I'm looking at them or not, they're just gonna go after me. So I got kind of lucky there with that command showing up when it did. But I also had the flash grenade that just to save, you know, things got really bad. So we do have a little bit of ammo now. Actually don't need to pick up that herb as of yet. I should use it to heal though. It's good to be at full health as much as I can. So if I took a hit at the health I was before, it put me into yellow. But if I take a hit right now, it'll keep me in green. Okay, I'm gonna shoot that guy so that way he doesn't hit me. It's pretty common that he'll shoot an arrow at me. So I just want to take that risk. So I'll reload right here. Wait for that to explode. And I'm going to run past. Oh, there's no guy right there in this difficulty. I'm gonna run over here. So I kick right there to avoid that sight that would be going straight through me. Kind of example of those invincibility frames I was talking about earlier on in the run. Run up here, throw a grenade. Knock them all down. I'm gonna grab this herb. And then enter this double Galador fight. So this fight is super trivial on New Game Pro, because you just use the rocket launcher to kill one, and then you use a single rifle shot to kill the other. Can't do that on this one because we don't have either of those. Well, we have a rocket launcher, but we use that for a different segment. So we have to use our broken butterfly to kill them. The reason why I'm kind of playing this safe, because this guy can kill you really fast. So I want him to kind of charge like that. I'm gonna reload that. Actually missed too many shots there. Magnum ammo is really scarce for this run. So if I miss like a bunch of shots that I shouldn't be, I can take one shot that I missed, that's fine. Okay, that's perfect. This is probably like another one of the hardest rooms in this run, because you just don't have a lot of room to work with. The Doors are blind, so you pretty much just have to be constantly walking while avoiding the other guys that are around you. And you can't really miss a lot of shots too, so I can afford missing that. Come on, I can afford missing that one shot. Actually, don't need that. Get rid of this. I can afford missing one shot, but like 2 shots, you can't do that. It's too much. So this is upcoming. We have our fight against Verdugo. This is, I would have to say, the one downside to a no merchant run. So we have this rocket launcher that we're not actually going to be using on this fight. We're going to be using it on a later fight, which takes even longer. And the Verdugo fight, Verdugo has the most health of any enemy in the game, and unfortunately, we have nowhere near enough firepower to kill him. So the alternative to this fight is that we actually use, we time him out while we wait for this elevator to show up. So what that means is we have to wait essentially about 3 minutes for the elevator to show up while we run away from him. There's no way to avoid it, unfortunately. It's a nice little break though for a lot of donations to come in. So there is one benefit to it, but it is a little bit of a lull in what's supposed to be a speed run, sadly. Fortunately, there's not really a lot of other areas like this. Everything else is still relatively speedy. Also didn't know here that, you know, because we're doing no merchant, we don't have access to the striker, which doesn't allow us to do that movement speed glitch called Dipman. So we're still running like normal, but the second half of the game is still pretty slow because we're not running like super fast all over the place. So what I'm going to do here, I want to see if I can get him stuck. So if you enter this room and you go into this corner, for whatever reason on 60 FPS, he has a good chance of getting himself stuck just left to the door. You'll see his face show up like through the door, like an illusion or some weird version of it like that. There, oh no, he's not going to get it. And we could just wait there for 3 minutes for the run for this fight to finish. We didn't get there, which is perfectly fine. We have another way to deal with it. But while we're waiting, we just use these canisters as much as we can, just to make the waiting period a little bit easier to avoid any issues. So now keep an eye on him. Sometimes he likes to disappear and show up right around this corner. Okay, good, he didn't show up. He'll actually be there without, like, he'll still be frozen, but he'll be moving at just completely normal. Weird little glitch. So what we do here instead, so this is where we do most of our waiting. He'll charge the door, he'll hit it once, and then if we kick it, he'll just do this backflip. So we just keep doing this until the elevator comes up, which should be pretty soon, actually, probably about a minute or so. Yeah, it's a boring part of this the speed run, unfortunately, but it's kind of a lesser of two evils thing, because the boss that we use the rocket launcher in just a little bit would actually take a whole lot longer to kill with the strats that we have for him without the rocket launcher. So we choose this fight where we don't have to kill him, we can wait him out in order to avoid that lengthy fight later on. Okay, should be any second. Come on, elevator. You're embarrassing me now. Jeez, I'm losing so much time. I have my timer running in the background. This has been a pretty bad chapter, it looks like. I've already lost about a minute. Mostly because of that one room with the guys that hit Ashley. There we go. Perfect timing too. So there's your most boring segment, unfortunately. The rest of the run still relatively fast, but we have to do what we can there. So this room, normally you'd use the rocket launcher in here too, to just shoot down the boulder, but we can't do that here because we need the rocket launcher in the next room. So what we do is the actual normal way of doing this. We'll grab this, hit the switch, which makes this minecart go down there. Okay, I need to take some damage because I am definitely have a really high difficulty right now. I can make do with it though. So we hit this, turn on the power, run down here. We gotta spawn the Salvador. It's fine, he can stay right there. Hit the switch. Run over here. So we want all these enemies to kind of group up now. I grab this dynamite. And we're gonna get this. Come on, throw the dynamite. Well, I want him to throw this dynamite. Why is he not dying? There we go. Everyone's gonna blow up right now. Just clears the way for me. So he's right behind me. I'm gonna reload. And then use the dynamite here. Get him to knock down so I don't have to worry about him. And then run over here. And then grab this, which I'll just actually get rid of this 2 shotgun shells. So now our inventory becomes a little bit easier to manage because these guys, this is where we use our rocket launcher to avoid this having to fight one of the Godors. Okay, I think I need to take some damage anyways, so. And there's a first aid spray right here I'll be grabbing. Kill them. Got this first aid spray. Now we have a whole lot of inventory. Pick up more grenades and heals and all that good stuff. I don't want to run too close to that center there because when that's still open, he can still grab me and pull me under and instantly kill me. But I had to spend a little bit of extra time avoiding him or shooting the other one, unfortunately. I'm gonna grab this herb right here since now we have inventory space for stuff, and we're gonna need it in this room because you can already tell what's gonna happen if you're familiar with RE4 runs at all. This is the third layer of hell that we like to call it. This is, I still think the second one's a little bit harder for no merchant. This one's pretty difficult because we're forced into running through these bottlenecks without any extra speed. But the second one's still hard too because there's just so many of them in such a small area that you have to deal with. So what we're trying to do here, trying to avoid all these guys, of course, will be hopefully just using one flash grenade. Here we go. This is why we picked up extra heals. So this is kind of just a room you have to brute force your way through. Ooh boy. Okay, that's what I want to see, is these kick commands. Okay, I'm gonna use flash grenade just to be safe, because I need to get through this guy. So this is a lot easier on New Game Pro, because the reason you have your Dipman speed going, so you can just run through these rooms before they show up. But here, since you're moving so slow, just one slow room causes them to all just gang up on you. So definitely a pretty difficult room to deal with. Actually lost a little bit of time there, but that's the last kind of hard room without Dipman, in my opinion. Oops, sorry about that. Grab this green herb right here. Need to start stocking up a lot on my herbs for this upcoming chapter after this. So just running through. Grab this flash grenade for later on. It's kind of weird running through this without Dipman, to be honest. It feels so much slower. Alright, so run over here. Hopefully this guy just points at me. Nice. Run up here. Yeah, that's how I know my difficulty is low enough, because if it was too high, then there would be a Salvador up there ready to attack me. Okay, good. She pointed at me, which is what I want. And then use this here. I'm gonna shoot these 4 dots for Indiana Jones Room 2, Temple of Doom. Fortunately, the Last Crusade does not show up in this run. And then we're going to move on to the minecart. So we do have a skip in 60 FPS in order to skip the minecart that we need use of Dipman to do. We don't have Dipman in this, unfortunately, so we have to find a different approach to this. So what we're going to do is we're going to line Leon up right about here. Wait for that. We're going to stop moving, and then we're going to clip out of bounds. So the reason why that works is we're moving from one... What, Yetta? My cat is so disappointed that I'm not giving her attention. Yetta, come here. Come here, girl. Come here, you. Alright, so back to what I was saying. The reason it works is we jump from one cart to the next at a certain angle and at a certain point in the track where it's going on a curve. And that just, and by doing that jump and not moving, Leon just gets forced out of the car and onto the track. There's a different setup for when we use Dipman, where we could do it before the cart is even activated. But this specific setup actually works on every single version of the game, regardless of frame rate, regardless of Dipman, which has been really useful for some of the older ones like PS2 and GameCube, which you know, significant time saves in those runs, you know, really shake up the run itself. It's still a little bit slow because we have to run through this whole area without Dipman speed, but still looks cool. This is the WTF moment of the run that really surprises like a lot of people. So it's really freaking cool. It's really new. It only got found out last year sometime, and then the skip I did, the way I did it, was only found out maybe about 6 months ago. So it's neat that, you know, 12 years after this game, I think it's 12 years after this game's come out, we're finding cool stuff like this still. Literally Super Smash Brothers Melee speedruns. This next room can be a little bit difficult without Dipman. This is actually one of the most troublesome rooms for me while learning this run. There's a certain timing to getting through this room that you have to approach, and without Dipman, the windows that you have for getting through certain parts is a whole of a heck lot shorter. So I'm gonna start by shooting that. That bullet alerts that guy over there, so I don't have to worry about him attacking me. I'm gonna shoot this. I'm gonna shoot this guy down. Shoot this guy down. Shoot this guy in the head. He doesn't. Oh, he's still gonna attack me. I want to get over to this hand before it goes up. Okay, very nice. Whew, that could have been really bad. The reason why I want to get on that hand right there. Oh, hello. That's a lot of enemies. Okay, I'm just gonna run past them. The reason why I want to get on that second hand at that moment is if I don't jump on it immediately, there's a couple other Gonadol behind me with their flails that are just gonna wail on me while I'm waiting for that hand to come back down again. So it's imperative that, you know, I get on that specific cycle to avoid, you know, taking a lot of damage or just dying actually. Also no comment on the giant mecha Sowler. I let people draw their own conclusions from why that is in this game. So here we are, climb this tower, and it's not all too different from New Game Pro. This guy may grab me if he's quick enough. Yeah. It's a little bit difficult to run past this guy. Hopefully we get like a green herb or something here. No, we're just gonna get ammo, which is fine. I do have a good amount of heals. Whew, I was actually really worried that was gonna hit me. Now shoot these guys, they do die in one hit. So I'm gonna approach this. I'm gonna shoot down these guys at a certain angle, which causes them to fall off the elevator. Anytime there's there's two enemies on this elevator, it'll just stop moving completely until they're all off. It's harder with this because this shotgun's a lot slower and the spread is a lot lower as well. Oh, that's not good. That's not something that should happen, ever. So I'm now in... Oh, this is not good. I may have to reset this. I need to be able to reload this. Here we go. So this is how bad this elevator can go if you don't knock down these enemies. It's kind of really no fault of my own. Like I said, the spread on this shotgun is a whole lot smaller than the striker that we have. So you just have to kind of improvise with it. That should be all the enemies though. I think we're good. I'm really hoping for an herb right here. No, okay, that's fine. So kind of a bad part. Unfortunately, there's no herbs until the end of this like whole walking segment, so I do get a little bit of a lower movement speed. But this is an area that it's really difficult not to take damage from the guy that's on top of the ladder that's always going to grab you, to just a bad elevator ride. It's just difficult. And all you can do is just try to make the best of it. So grab this first aid spray here. Oh no. Typewriter boss. Okay, we can grab that, and then we're gonna grab this magnum ammo. We're gonna reload the magnum too. And then we're gonna enter the Saddler fight. So this is how we do this fight. Primarily with the broken butterfly. So this is a fight that I'll have to reset if I do miss too many shots. I play it kind of safe. Didn't miss one shot, that's okay. Reload. And I'm gonna wait for him to do this special attack. Attack him a couple more times. And I'm gonna move over here again. I'm gonna shoot this eye. And then while the eye comes down, I'm gonna reload, and then he should be dying right here. Oh crap. That's okay. We still have 3 shots. So I'll just wait for his special attack again. But he should die right here though. Or not. Wow, I'm not getting much luck with this run, to be honest. Alright, we'll wait for the special attack again. He's really weak. I know that. There we go. It's just kind of unfortunate that just like 2 extra magnum shots could have killed him. And sometimes when he's like flailing around, like his hitbox will get like really strange, and you won't be able to hit him. All right, so let's grab these extra herbs now that we have room for heals. Still saving time on my end. It's just a hard chapter, to deal with just the standard weapons. Grab this first aid spray. Oh, I don't want that rifle ammo. Let's get that out of here. And it's okay that we don't have any magnum ammo right now. We don't need any until much later. And now we're on to the island, which is the final chapter of the game and the final environment that we experience. Island is pretty different too from your standard new game run, especially because this whole time you're in the island, you're supposed to have Ditman, so we have to go through, do some different strats to make up for the speed that we don't have. But like I said, it's still doable. So we're gonna grab this magnum ammo so we have that later on. We're gonna start stocking up on it for a later fight. We're also stocking up on incendiary grenades for another fight that the boss is really weak to fire. So because of the JJ, we just have to wait. It's okay that we take damage. Get that difficulty lowered a bit. I'm really gonna hope that he doesn't shoot me here though. Okay, good. Then we're gonna adjust the second mirror, and then we're gonna reload the checkpoint so all the enemies are reset. We don't have to worry about JJ shooting us while we run up this. Push the pistol here. Here, there's not really, it's not really terribly important to be running with this animation because the difference between the run speed for this one and like the handgun is pretty nominal, like pretty small, almost to the point where it's not usually worth it to switch weapons. The reason we do it so much in the other new game runs because we have to switch weapons anyways to activate Ditman, but in this one it's really not that important. So I'm gonna use this herb right here. I have to start making up a little bit more space again until we use these 2 grenades in the upcoming room. So to get through this room, really, cats are very upset at me. So to get through this room, we actually have to kill these enemies because we don't nearly have enough movement speed to get through. So we do so by shooting the dynamite that they keep throwing at us. Oh, and I can miss that. They'll reset their position now. Now they should be dead. Okay, I had to make sure. I wasn't sure they had died or not. So I'm gonna throw 2 grenades then. They all should have died. Yeah, there we go. So it's still pretty fast. Those enemies have a little bit more health than your standard Ganado. Almost forgot this. Got that incendiary, and we're gonna get some more more magnum ammo right here. Go ahead and equip this to give me the option to quick turn. Makes movement a little bit more cleaner. Grab this key item, and then we got the regenerators being introduced into the game. Huge bullet sponges. Typical way that you need to kill them is have a thermal scope attachment for your rifle, which shows their weak points, which you just fire and shoot them, with that. We have no such thing in this category, and we do actually have to fight one of them coming up, which will show kind of an easy way to abuse doing damage to them. So you can either kill them by shooting their weak points, or you can just do enough damage to them that they just end up dying. So we're going for the latter option in this category, since we don't have any rocket launchers. We don't have a lot of magnum ammo, actually. Let's actually get rid of some of this pistol ammo. I'm gonna wait for this guy. Gonna run past these dudes. Shoot that guy. And then we're gonna pull out this flash grenade again. So I'm gonna open that right now. I'm not gonna pick it up though. I'm just gonna keep it open for when we do come back this way. So Ashley's over there to our right, but we don't have the key to get in. So you have to go find the key, which we will do on this Iron Maiden in this next room. So the Iron Maiden is like the upgraded version of the Regenerator. He's got like spikes and stuff coming out of him. Super dangerous, super scary. And then you realize you can just do this over and over and keep him permanently stun locked, and he can't do anything at all to you. So we have to spend a little bit of time knifing him. It's not a lot of time, maybe like a minute or so to kill him, because we can't afford to use the magnum ammo on him, and this is like the most reliable way to keep the run mostly consistent in this chapter. So keep knifing him until he just ends up blowing up from us knifing him so much. Apparently that's the way to do in some of these mini bosses, just having them blow up. There we go. That doesn't take too much time. Still obviously have to wait to kill him, but you do what you can. So I'm gonna throw this flash grenade up here. I have a tricky throw. I'm gonna reload that. that just bounced right off the ceiling. That's not how you're supposed to throw. Come up here and throw. There we go. Now we get everyone except this guy apparently. Shoot him instead. I'm gonna abuse those iframes that we talked about earlier to get through. And then we're gonna save Ashley. Hooray, we saved Ashley. Fix my inventory a bit. Let's throw this flash grenade. Get all these enemies stunned. This shield guy obviously doesn't get stunned because he has a way to block the flash grenade. I'm just gonna run through here. I'm gonna grab this flash grenade now, throw this one, hit this switch. I'm gonna leave Ashley there. She can get picked up, that's fine. We don't care about that. As long as we get to this next area before she goes through that door, then she'll show up with us. So it's a neat little trick that we can use to have the enemies go after Ashley instead of Leon, because Leon is way more important, obviously, than Ashley. And just trigger that next room and then get through without any problems. So we have the Iron Maidens again. We just want to get past them though. Fine. What I'm gonna do is a little like his arm attack. His like, there we go. All the other attacks are a little bit risky to run past. We can get past the spikes, but it's really not worth the risk in it. You can use a flash grenade if you end up having an extra one at this point, which is feasible depending on drops. But the goal here is to only have one flash grenade left when you enter this room. The reason for that is this neat little glitch we're going to be doing with without any weapons equipped. So what I'm doing right now, I'm holding down the right trigger, and I'm keeping Ashley locked in place. Up there. The reason why this works is regardless of us not having any weapons equipped, the game still thinks that we have something. And whenever you point a weapon at Ashley, she'll crouch down and get stuck. If we didn't have anything equipped, oh no. Are they chasing me? No. If we just had nothing equipped at all, she would just follow us because she's like, hey, you don't have a weapon equipped, you're not holding on the right trigger, I'm just going to chase after you. But for whatever reason, something in the game's coding makes her think that you're constantly pointing a weapon or your knife at her, and she just gets stuck there. And those enemies that spawn there, they don't see her at all. They only see Leon. So we're able to get into a spot where the enemies don't see Leon, but Ashley will just run right past them to her, or to him. and just make for a really simple room that we have to wait on these buttons or this lever to throw.
Follow me.
Normally you have to throw flash grenades, keep them at bay. You know, it's a really risky room, but just being able to find a way to kind of abuse Ashley really helps us there.
Leave it to me, Leon.
Here's where I get to dump all my my shotgun shells out of my inventory. This is the auto scroller segment of the game that we actually have to deal with. Fortunately, there's no skip for this like there is for the minecart, but it's not too long. We got Ashley showing off her real trucking skills. Probably played a bit of American Truck Sim while she's being held captive. And she's navigating through this tunnel. Oh, we have to protect, you know, her and ourselves from all these enemies showing up. It's really simple. It's just using the shotgun to keep knocking them off. If we're moving to, if I stand right here, these enemies will actually just run up and try to attack me. But I can't do that forever because enemies actually start showing up. Just jumping out of bounds onto the truck itself, so I can't just always be at the edge of the truck. Still a pretty easy segment. And we want to make sure to have pistol ammo too, because we have the truck that came out of nowhere following us. Really, where did it come from? Like that that one segment in Rick and Morty, where did she go? Except it's, where did the truck go? So the truck comes back to life despite being on fire, broken engine, and all that good stuff. And I don't know, maybe there's like a plagas in the engine or something that makes it be able to do that. So I'm gonna equip the shotgun here. Actually, I'm gonna equip this. This is an area that I have to take a little bit of precaution on because of
I'm leaving it to you.
depending on what movement I get from these Gonado up here, to either have to run past them or go for a kick to shoot him in the head. Oh, that's not gonna work. So we'll just do that. It's okay if I take it. Sure. But my goal is just make sure I get to the end, because once I get down to the bottom, then I can just reset the checkpoint. Because there's gonna be like 5 guys right here. And as soon as I reload checkpoint, all the enemies despawn while we're still in the same spot. It allows us to avoid a little bit of damage that we would take. Alright, so I'm just gonna shoot down some dudes. So we got those 2, and then we have another 2 right here. Alright, dudes are dead. And then we just got these dudes trying to jump on our truck, as usual. Fortunately, the truck's gonna stop moving, so they're gonna get up here, so I just have to let them come up. These guys are a little bit different. There's a pretty high chance that they can turn into plagas. So I do need to actually keep an eye on them, because I don't want to have any plagas show up while I'm going into this next cutscene, because they can just run up to me and kill me. Okay, let him jump up. Oh, wait a second. and then the truck will kill him. Sometimes the truck doesn't kill him, and I'll just be stuck in this cutscene that they can just run up to me and kill me. Not really too big of a fear of that happening in this difficulty because I have more health and they don't do as much damage, but it's not a way you want to have a run end. Okay, so now we're on to chapter 5.3. We're pretty close to the end of the run. This is a kind of a lengthy chapter as well, just because of one of the boss fights we're not able to do a quick kill on, but still a pretty cool kill nonetheless. Hopefully I don't mess it up, because you could lose a little bit of time, unfortunately. But first, before that, we can go into this cutscene everyone knows and loves. Let me give myself a chance to not talk and recover my voice too. Ooh, Final Fantasy Record Keeper has a new banner. Let's play some mobile games during this.
Time, comrade.
Krauser.
I died in a crash 2 years ago. Is that what they told you?
You're the one who kidnapped Ashley.
You catch on quick. As
Ooh,
expected.
Final Fantasy. Do I want to
After all,
play
you
on
and
Final
I
Fantasy
both know
13?
where we come from.
I don't think so. There's nothing I need to pull.
What do you want?
Shout out to anyone on the GDQ community that plays Record Keeper as well and knows what the heck I'm talking about.
The sample Sadler developed, that's all.
Even if you don't accept this game to the marathon, feel free to talk to me about Ozma strats coming up.
Like you,
I'm American. Check Twitter, see who else is working on their we got 3 hours, or no, 4 hours left. So, ooh, Maxie is doing submissions tonight too. Who else is working on submissions? Less than 6 hours from games done quick.
umbrella's sake. Umbrella. Almost let it slip. Enough talk. Die, comrade.
Ada!
Well, if it isn't the bitch in the red dress.
Browsers is PG.
Looks like we have the upper hand.
Keep the language to a minimum. Dang, apparently I'm the only one
You may be
working
able
on
to prolong your
submissions
life,
besides
but
Maxie
it's not
tonight.
like you can escape your inevitable death, is it?
You knew
It's alright.
it.
We'll have this all done before the end of today.
Maybe it's about time you told me the reason.
Good
why
luck,
you're
member,
here.
staff, getting through all these submissions. Quite a lot this year, dude. Sure, regardless of what gets picked, if this gets on or not, we'll make a pretty great games list. Alright, so we got full-on Mission Impossible now. We've moved out of the survival horror genre into the spy espionage genre. We just need some Mission Impossible music now in the background. Wait, that's James Bond. Crap, how does Mission Impossible go? What is the song for Mission Impossible? Cannot think of it. I just keep thinking of James Bond. Okay. Well, hopefully whoever's watching this knows the Mission Impossible theme. Just hum that during that laser segment and it'll literally fit it perfectly. All right, well, moving on. So this is the boss rush chapter. QT, I guess, is kind of a boss. I don't know, maybe. But here we got our first boss that we're going to deal with, which is U3. This guy, pretty simple first phase. We just have to escape him in these crates by hitting these switches. As long as we move fast enough, he shouldn't be able to catch up to us. There's a chance he'll try to grab me from the ceiling, like that. But I'm pretty much always mashing the buttons for the QTE for XA. So just in case if that does happen, then I'm already ready for it. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna switch to this grenade. I'm gonna hope that he. Okay, good. If he doesn't jump right there, there's a chance he could body block me, and just gets kind of scary. Trying to get past him. But he played nice. And for this one, instead of running all the way around, we're just gonna throw this grenade right here. And we're gonna activate this one and just run straight to the end. Normally you'd hit that button first, have to run all the way through this, run over there and shoot that button that the grenade hit, and then run back. But we don't have to do that here. So here we got the second phase in this 3-phase fight. For this one we have to save our ammo. So unfortunately we have to make this a bit of a knife fight. Kind of get stuck here a little bit. So we do this by dodging all his attacks by just quickly running past him and quick turning to keep knifing him. Kind of a cool little tech skill thing. And then he'll just stop moving right here for like 5 seconds. It's okay if we take damage, he shouldn't kill us. Okay, that's what I want to happen, because it gives me a bunch of free knives. It's only a little bit worrisome when he gets like next to a wall. And I can't get past him. Like, that was a little scary. Plus that turn was pretty scary. We'll keep doing this until we pull him into the next phase, which doesn't take too long. Oh, that was bad. Okay. Like I said, U3 can be a little bit tricky. Depending on if he hits you or not. So what happened there is he actually trapped me. And I couldn't get to his side. So with that, he was actually able to one-shot me. Pretty much really murdered me. Kind of unfortunate that that happened. It happens occasionally. It's not a very common thing. It's better to play this fight safe more so than anything. But I was playing a little bit risky there. I should just back up and just make sure I have enough space for him to do his attacks, and just only do like 2 knives per turn to make sure I have enough time to dodge his attacks. We should stagger right here or not. Fortunately, once we get past this, then it's just a whole lot easier to deal with. Oh yeah, let's go ahead and bring him back here a little bit. So that way we have enough room to get past him. This is probably the riskiest boss to fight in this category, just because there's such a high level of tech skill needed. But it's still pretty doable once you get the pattern down. There we go. This should be it. Yep. We're into the next phase. Gonna wait for him to try to attack us. Right for that. For that again. Let's see if he keeps following us. Okay, no, he's gonna go down. This is what we've been saving all our incendiaries for, and this is a really easy part of the fight. We just have to keep letting him try to attack us from underground, and then hopefully in a reasonable amount of time come up so we can do some damage to him. Come on, dude. What are you doing? You're making a fool out of me. Right. Now I'll wait for him to turn around. And still chasing us. Should only take one more. There we go. So pretty simple fight. Another boss that's really weak to incendiary grenades. And plus, kind of the last hard fight of this category too. Krauser's pretty simple because there's no special weapons we use for him. But yeah, that guy you see there, it's a little bit scary if that happens. It's not always going to happen, but it can. Run past these dudes. Okay, good thing they didn't try to charge me right away. Jump down here. Ignore this merchant. This is where we would buy all our final weapons typically. But we're still doing it. We're at the very last part of the run, so we gotta keep up the no merchant strat. And grab this herb right here. Girlfriend cracking up in the background at something. So we don't have to worry about Ditman for this, because normally we wouldn't be using Ditman here. So we're gonna grab this extra stuff, shoot this here, so it charges us. Nice, perfect. I'm gonna go through this door. I'm actually gonna reload the checkpoint right away. The reason for that is that way he chases us here. If we didn't reload the checkpoint, there's a possibility he'll show up on this ledge right in front of us. And since we don't have like Ditman or anything, he's gonna hit us with you know, that EMP or even the crossbow that he has. So it's kind of risky. So I'm gonna back up here and let him throw this grenade down, and then he's gonna jump down. Oh, okay, that's not gonna work.
Don't just stand there. Come on,
If I knifed his head, then he would have died. So we're gonna do it this time. There we go. Well, not die, but trigger the next cutscene. The normal strat for a new game is to use the Killer 7 that we have at this point to headshot him twice, but given that we need all the Magnum ammo that we have, we can't afford that luxury. So we're picking up a lot of herbs, as you may tell. Probably gonna need just about every single one of them coming up. 5 for the next chapter is just a bullet hell in Resident Evil form, trying to dodge just constant, like everything being thrown at you. Run past these things. You can shoot these guys for ammo if you really need them. Sometimes they drop Magnum ammo too, but we're not gonna worry about that at this point.
what is it that you fight for, comrade?
I pass, I suppose. So the difficult part of this fight is done. Now we go on to the final part.
Prepare for your death, Leon.
Whoa! Okay, that actually took me by surprise. That I did not expect that to happen. So what should have happened there is that I run to his right,
Prepare for your death.
and make him do this like double jump, and then I keep him staggered in the corner like this. That was really surprising that happened. So knife is the strongest weapon against Krauser. Oh, I thought he was gonna die right there. He can just get staggered constantly by Leon. Don't need any special weapons for that. We'll do that in a new game as well. Alright, let's get all these herbs together. So you're gonna see exactly what I was talking about. We need all these herbs for this part because we're running very slow. We're pretty much running the top here. There's just so much crap going on that you have to just push your way through. Do that. Push this shotgun so I don't even have to aim. Yeah, there we go. We're already taking damage. Taking damage again. Crap. I'm taking damage again. Oh, I gotta reload here too. Just realized that. Okay. There we go. Want him to do that attack on me, so that way this guy's gonna shoot me probably. Oh no, I got that's pretty good. I'm gonna run through here. I have to choose like when I want to go through this. Normally we would wait for the next one, but I'm gonna do this. Get this guy down. Wait for okay there. Good. Run past this guy. Or not. So we'll get those two dead. Pull out the broken butterfly. Looks like he's shooting. Okay, good. He's shooting the other side, which is perfect. There's a couple different patterns that the helicopter, Mike, which we prefer to him as, can do. Oh, I didn't even see that dude. Like I said, using quite a lot of ammo in this chapter, or a lot of herbs, and there's not really much you can do to avoid these guys. You just have to barrel with it. Let that guy right there jump down here. So it's nice that he shot this open because you could just jump down there instead of running all the way over to the ladder and having to jump down there instead. So just about done with this run, thankfully. Like I said, it's obviously a little bit of a longer category, but I think just the strats involved in it for a game that so many people have played, really could bring in a lot of people watching. Additionally, you know, if GDQ is able to, you know, work this into their scheduling, you know, having a bid war between both New Game Pro and No Merchant could be a pretty good way to bring in donations for Doctors Without Borders. Other donation incentives, you know, we got costumes, the jet ski glitch if we do New Game Pro, if there's a whole save kill animals thing going on, then we have the dog at the start of the game that we can either save or just ignore. Plus just bringing people in to watch the stream itself is always a reliable way to bring in donations itself and get them exposed to other runs. Yeah, I'll take damage. That's okay. I'm gonna throw this flash grenade right here. Normally you don't do it right here, but it's actually better to do so, given there's just so many guys right there. So I'm gonna throw that flash grenade down there so that way there's no enemies here that can surprise me. It's like we got kind of lucky too, with no enemies being there at all. Yeah, this run is pretty much done at this point. Actually, no, we do have Sadler, which is a little bit different than he is in New Game itself.
Wait, follow.
Do that, get these enemies to attack us, then we're gonna run to the end. Where are we at on ammo? We're good. So I need this to be full. We're gonna do final boss. So first off, we need to shoot this. We're gonna shoot this eye twice with the broken butterfly, and then we're gonna do the QTE to dive, knife into his weak point. I'm gonna turn over here, get a little space between the two of us, till the eye comes up again, like that. This fight is pretty fast. We only have to do this about 6 times, so it's definitely not too long at all. So we're gonna get this one to show up. I'm gonna go ahead and reload after this. I'm gonna use a grenade this time, so that way I can quickly reload Broken Butterfly. Actually, no, I'm not gonna do that. I don't want the grenade to accidentally destroy this eye. Oh, that's not good. That's okay, we got plenty of heals. The eye didn't show up at a good time. There we go. So I have four more magnum shots until this guy's dead. Well, at least until he's halfway dead. When he's halfway dead, we get this, get that. Actually, that was a little bit early. So once he's halfway dead, Ada throws us a special rocket launcher. Kind of a staple of the Resident Evil series. Instantly kills this guy, last boss, as with a lot of the last bosses in the other games too. So yeah, that's gonna be just about wrapping up my run. Hope you all enjoyed this. Like I said, a lot of the commentary will obviously be improved. It's kind of hard to play this and do commentary on the fly at the same time, so we'll have a pretty knowledgeable couch of all RE4 runners should this get in for different segments, so I can just concentrate on gameplay itself. Also, by the time GDQ comes around, this run will be a lot more optimized. I'm pretty new to this category myself, but a lot of my new game experience translates pretty well over into this. World record is currently about an hour and 54 minutes. I'm sitting at about 2 hours and 4 minutes after just 2 days of doing runs for this. So definitely, given the estimate that I'll be putting on for 205, that will be pretty generous by the time GDQ runs around, should this category get picked. So we're ending with a final time of about 204.32. Despite kind of 33, 1 second off. So despite the death, the couple of deaths that we just unfortunately sustained, still a decent time itself. the number of times killed also includes times we killed Ashley too, so it's not necessarily times that, you know, I messed up myself. But yeah, that was a new game, no merchant, normal mode. You know, I appreciate you taking your time to watch this. I really hope to see this or New Game Pro in a marathon. And hope you all, and good luck with the rest of your submissions, and, you know, have a good one. Thanks for watching.